Aries, welcome to Vivid Vibration. My name is Christina. I hope that y'all are doing well. Aries, y'all have the Judge and Olivia, the Mentor, the Forest, the Unseen, the Crone, the Kiss, and Kairos. Aries. I mean, there's a lot of like, I don't know, the Mentor, the Crone, Kairos, this all of this energy feels very just like constant and aware and, you know, like knowledgeable through experience. And I feel like whoever the mentor is coming through with this energy. I don't know why, like, I just think of like a kid going to juvie or something. Like the judge ruled. And I feel like there's like you're being like under the tutelage of somebody, because I don't know, I just feel like judgment was passed, and whatever lines were being blurred, I just kind of feel like it's very clear. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like this was in somebody else's read too. I don't remember who. I think it was Libs. Maybe y'all have some Libra in your chart, or you are dealing with somebody who has a Libra placement. But it does feel like judgment was passed and that it wasn't in your favor. And I feel like you're being sent in another direction, but you're going in a direction because the forest is the idea of uncharted territory, right? It's paths not yet charted. And I mean, the idea behind the forest is that there are friends and enemies alike. And, you know, like there's like newness and adventure, but like also like you just need to know what you're doing. I feel like just having like I feel like you're like it's a guide, right? And you're like, I'm glad I have like a guide to get me through this, or I'm glad I have like a friend who is able to really, I don't know. I just feel like it's a mentor in the sense that like they've been there, they've done that. Or like an AA, and you have somebody who, you know, like they're like a senior level person of sobriety. I don't know what they're called, but you know what I'm trying to say, right? And I just kind of feel like there's an idea here that there's somebody who's mentoring you, who has been with you along the way, right? Who has kind of like watched you stumble, watched you, I want to say fall. And is willing to offer you a helping hand as you move in this next direction, because I just kind of get the feeling that like whatever was ruled, like you can't go that way anymore. You know what I mean? Like that, like, I don't know. I just feel like the judge did not rule in your favor. And I feel like the judge was like, you know, like, you're not blurring these lines. You're not going to talk your way out of this. You're not going to convince me of anything different. You know, again, that somebody who's been there, done that, already aware of the process, being like, hey, like, this sucks. I know it sucks. Even if you were in the wrong, it doesn't make it any less sucky. Do you know what I mean, though? To have to learn that lesson. But whatever this is, it's sending you in another direction. And I feel like there's a part of you, I mean, the unseen is like dreams, aberrations, otherworldly experiences. And I feel like there's a part of you that is like, even though this ruling like sucked, or if it's like, say you were drinking and driving and you got a DUI, and now you have to go to meetings every night, and you have to, you know, wear an ankle bracelet, and you have to do all these things. Like, that sucks, but it's giving you an opportunity to get sober, right? It's giving you an opportunity to turn your life around. It's giving you an opportunity. And so while I feel like maybe whatever it was that happened is not something that you really wanted to happen, it is something that's giving you an opportunity to step forward in a new direction that's going to be more positive for you. And the kiss is the idea of a relationship. So we'll do clarifiers around that because there's not a whole lot with that coming through right now. But whatever it is that you're going through, it does feel like it's not all that great. You're not all that stoked. And yet I feel like you can recognize the opportunity at hand, right? Aries. Yeah, the Tower, the Devil, the Seven of Cups, and the World. Well, yeah, again, like this end, like judgment has been passed, and there was nothing but manipulation and lack, and that's not a foundation that anybody can step forward with. You know, and again, take that how it resonates. If it's, you know, like a battle with sobriety, if it's a, I don't know, like it's just coming through as like going to juvie or going to AA meetings, and like, but you've been ruled that you have to, like, you have to get clean. You have to, do you know what I mean? And if it's not an actual like chemical drug or alcohol substance, you know, then maybe it's just a way of being, right? For your last few reads, it's been about this idea of a relationship, but you don't ever really show up for it. And then you want to act like you, like you've done something and you should be rewarded in some kind of way. And I think, you know, like somebody just being like, yeah, no, because I don't like, again, I'm not really sure what reality it is that you're living in. You know, but it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? It just feels like a lot of lack and a lot of manipulation. But the Wheel of Fortune. So again, it's like, even though this sucks in like all of the ways imaginable, again, it's like, but it's giving you an opportunity to start new, to change your ways, to become, you know, to sober up, to like, however it plays out for you. And yeah, it's not the direction you wanted to go, but it's a direction that I just want to say like is needed, you know, like Aries. The Six of Cups, the Ten of Cups, the Seven of Pentacles, the Page of Swords, the Six of Pentacles. Well, you know, I feel like when you're looking back at everything, because it does, it really does. And obviously, y'all, take what resonates and how it resonates. If it doesn't resonate with you in terms of substance abuse, please just acknowledge it as an analogy. You know what I mean? Because it does feel like this, like looking back at everything, and I mean, this is kind of the idea of like thinking back on the sweet moments. And I do kind of feel like, because if anybody's ever dealt with anybody who's struggled with substance abuse, there's always that moment of, you know, like when they come back down from it all, where they look back and they realize, you know, like you were my friend through all of it, you know, like one of my very best friends, that when she became an addict and lost everyone, and I didn't spend any time with her, honestly, once she kind of went down that rabbit hole in a real way. But if ever she needed me, she knew all she had to do was pick up the phone and I'd be there. You know what I mean? If she just needed her friend was there. You know, most of the time she didn't want her friend. You know what I mean? Because I, like, as her friend, I had issues with her life choices. But I never stopped loving her. You know what I mean? Like she was such an important person in my life and in my children's life. And you know what I mean? Like no matter what she went through, like I never stopped loving her. I knew that like it wasn't her who was stealing it. It was the, you know, the drugs. It wasn't her who was, you know, like shitting on everyone around her. It was the drugs, you know? But I feel like there's almost that sense of like looking back and being like thankful for like the moments when you knew that like all you had to do was pick up the phone. Like all you had to do was tap in, right? Which again plays into that idea of like showing up on occasion, and you know what I mean? But like never being anybody reliable, never being anybody that anybody was like, I would be in a relationship with this person. It's more like, well, I really love this person and I hope they get their shit together. You know what I mean? And just being appreciative for that, because that is a really big deal. You know what I mean? Because not everyone will stick around and hope that you get your shit together. In fact, most people are going to turn around and they're going to talk shit on you, and they're going to throw dirt at your name, and they're going to kick you when you're down. And I feel like even though you know that what you did was wrong, or you can be on either side of the story. I'm going to read it one way. You take what resonates and how it resonates. Again, you can be on either side, but like, it's just that idea of like, but when you look back, you realize that like when it's all said and done, you really were treated in a way that was like, it was probably more than you actually did deserve. Not that you're not deserving just by being in existence, but when you behave in a really shitty way, you know, like it's kind of like, well, you know, you get back what you put out. And I feel like what you put out, you didn't get back. And what a blessing, you know. And yet you're having to go on this journey where you're going to have to really, I feel like, just almost like this idea of like soaking in something, right? Like it takes, what is it, like 21 days to form a habit or something like that. But I feel like there's an idea here of, again, of you going on this journey of really like focusing on your personal development, focusing on, you know, like becoming an emotionally intelligent person, so that you can be ready for community, be ready for partnership, you know, because you can't show up sincerely in any of those things if you've gone down a rabbit hole of any kind, whether it's drugs, whether it's, you know, you were just hyper focused on work, or, you know, you just wanted to play with your friends, or, you know what I mean? Like however that plays out for y'all. But I do feel like this is in spite of the things that are happening that really suck, there is still very much a sense of gratitude. And as far as this mentorship goes, I just kind of feel like it's somebody who's been there, done that, and is like, okay, well, you're headed this way now, kid, you know? And I say kid, but because I feel like that's what a mentor, you know what I mean? Like you're mentoring someone and you're like, all right, kid, let's hit the road. Like we got shit to do. Like we got to go pick up trash on the side of the road, or we got to go, you know what I mean? Like we got to go to this meeting now. And I don't know. Do you know what I mean though? Again, if that's not where you're at in life and you are someplace, you know, a lot more solid than that, it can play out, like I said, like with work or with friends, or you know what I mean? But you know, the world, the 7 of Cups, the 5 of Wands, again, it's just this idea of I feel like there was just an attempt to blur the lines, right? And I don't know if you guys have ever been around anybody who's an addict. They're the most quick talking, because it's just like, one, I feel like their attention span is like gone, and 2, they have a goal, and that goal is to convince you to help them to get drugs. And that's all they care about. It's all they think about. They eat, sleep, and breathe it. They wake up ready to get high. They, you know, like they pass out on the floor until they are conscious enough to be ready to like quick talk their way into some cash from anybody and everybody who they can try and get it from. You know, they'll hustle. You know, and they take pride in it too. It's not a good look. But again, you know, like the Knave of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, Temperance, I think that you're stepping out of that energy and into an energy that says, okay, now I have to overcome that. I have to not be that person. I have to, you know, like I lost this opportunity because of my behavior, and this is not easy. And it doesn't feel like these aren't kings, you know, like this is not major energy, but it's those first steps that really, I feel rewarding, because because sometimes self-respect requires that we take action. And I get this sense of like feeling like self-respect for the first time in a while, you know? And again, you could be dealing with somebody in this energy, and it does not have to be addiction. That just seems to be really heavy in this read right now. You know, and if that is the case, no judgment, you know, like I said, like some of the people who I've loved the most and been the closest to in my life have struggled with that, and they've overcome it. You know, so you always have that ability. But sometimes I think after the shame, you know, like, because shame is a huge emotion that is experienced in that, when you start taking those steps, it turns into a sense of self-respect. It turns into a sense of pride, you know, in the best way possible. And I feel like you're moving in that direction, Aries, and I'm very, very glad for that. The Cave. Yes, because you're going to be able to become more intimate with yourself. Like sometimes the only way we will ever really look at ourselves is if we hit rock fucking bottom. Like for me, I was never into the whole drug scene, you know, like I smoke weed and like do shrooms on occasion, or you know what I mean? But like people who smoke weed and take shrooms on occasion are not the people who are snorting coke and shooting heroin and you know what I mean? Like all that other shit, taking fentanyl, popping perks, you know what I mean? Like there's a whole world of it out there. But my drug was keeping myself busy. You know what I mean? Like I would be working all the time, then I would have the boys, and then I would, you know, like, and then I would be, when they weren't home, then I would be out, you know, with my friends, and I just kept myself busy all the time so that I never had to deal with myself, because I didn't want to have to deal with myself. That was a lot to have to deal with. Can confirm. You know what I mean? And it wasn't until the pandemic hit and I was forced to be isolated and I was forced to really face myself that I was able to actually start addressing those like dirty little secrets that I never really wanted to acknowledge. You know, like those character traits where it's like, well, that's probably not like all that great about myself, but do I really want to have to look at myself in the mirror and say, I don't like what I see? No, I'd rather just keep myself busy and occupied so I don't have to think about it, you know? So like pick your poison, you know, like we all have our own ways of avoiding ourselves. You know, it doesn't have to be substance abuse, but when we stop avoiding ourselves, we become intimate with ourselves. When we are comfortably intimate with ourselves, we are able to engage in intimacy with other people, and we are also able to hold boundaries so that we are not engaging in intimacy with anyone and everyone who just shows up at our door. You know what I mean? Because that's a whole nother challenge that we face as individuals. But Aries, by and large, I feel like this is taking a really positive direction, and I'm very, very thankful for that for y'all. If this does resonate, please give me a like, share, and subscribe, and I will see y'all again soon. Bye.